A few years ago, my husband and I purchased a house with a pool. Now we are acquainted with most of our neighbors, but definitely not close friends with any of them. They all seem nice, but well, just don't have much in common other where we live. Next door to the right is a family of 6, twin daughters attending the local university, high school-age son, and a young elementary school-age daughter, maybe first or second grade, and the parents. Now normally, we open the pool in early May and keep it open until the end of October. But this year, our weather was off, and we had a very cool and very wet month of May. And then June went straight to 100+ temperatures. I am currently on a medication that makes it difficult for me to tolerate being in the sun and heat for an extended time. Plus, we have been helping 2 extended family members who are having health issues. So because of this, we haven't had our pool opened yet this year. Normally, we go to the family lake house for a week during each of the 3 major holidays. But we didn't go for Memorial Day because there was flooding around the lake this year. And because a family member was just discharged from the hospital yesterday. And July 4th, being a Thursday this year, we decided to stay home this week and be available to help this family member. Now, several times in June, the little girl next door has seen either my husband or myself outside, and she has asked when we are opening the pool. We first told her maybe later, but the last time, yesterday, she asked, and I said we are probably just not going to open it this year, and she started crying. Now, we have never had any of the neighbors over to use our pool, so I didn't understand why she was crying over us not opening our pool. Well, I spoke with the neighbor on the left later, and apparently our neighbors on the right have been having a small family party at our pool every 4th of July when we are gone. They have always cleaned up really well afterwards, and because we have scheduled pool maintenance and weekly yard service, occasionally things are moved around in our yard, and we never thought much about it. The neighbor on the left thought we had given the other neighbors permission to use our pool. We did give them permission to retrieve any balls or toys that ended up in our yard, but never permission to use our pool, especially when we are not at home. We have a special latch on the gate, and my husband did show the neighbor how to open the gate to retrieve his kids' toys. So now my husband, who loves gadgets, is going to have several more cameras installed around the exterior of our house, covering the gate and pool area, and have the gate latch made where we can grant remote access for the pool service and yardmen. Luckily, we have a friend who does cameras and home automation systems. I'm annoyed our neighbors have been using our pool without permission, but my husband is happy I am letting him get more gadgets around the house. Now, do we confront the neighbors and let them know we know they have been using our pool? Or just wait and see if they say anything about our new security cameras? Hubby was very sick. Had to take him to the ER after he passed out from dehydration from an intestinal bug he'd been dealing with for a few days. On the way, he calls his job to let them know. We park in the ER garage and get a little ticket that the ER validates for you. He's brought back, immediately given fluids and meds, taken back for a CT scan, etc. We find out later a coworker who was pissy she was going to be short-handed took it upon herself to somehow find our address and later drive over to our apartment to check to see if hubby is really sick. She sees our upstairs neighbor walking, who vaguely resembles my hubby. Both 6 feet 3 inches, light brown hair, similar builds. He's 15 years younger though, and has his infant with him. Our kids are in their late 20s, early 30s. She goes back to work and tells boss that we lied about being sick, as she saw him at insert time, walking around outside perfectly fine. The next morning, the boss calls hubby and lets him know he's going to be written up for calling out under false pretense and causing staffing issues. After pressing him for info, he tells us about what the coworker did. Hubby tells boss that firstly, we have proof we were in the ER at the time coworker said she saw him, and secondly, that he's filing an HR complaint on both the coworker and the manager, as there isn't any rule about why anyone can call out. And why the hell is coworker at our house spying on us? In our state, management isn't allowed to inquire about your health, nor are they allowed to let you tell them about your health issues. Manager starts getting defensive and states if we can give him proof, then he'll excuse it. Hubby says you'll get your proof and hangs up. He immediately calls HR and lets them know what happened, and we provide them the time-stamped parking ticket and part of the discharge paperwork from the ER, showing what time we arrived and left. The next week, an email is sent out notifying all employees and Magnity about the law concerning sick time, and also a separate notification that employees are not to be following, spying on, or otherwise contacting other employees outside of the office regarding work, time off, etc. Hubby was called into a meeting with the manager, the department head, and the female employee. The manager and the employee were both absolutely roasted by the dep head. The only thing the employee had to say was that the person she saw looked like my hubby, and she was just angry about the situation. And the manager's excuse was that the female employee had been there a long time, so he trusted her when she told him. When asked how she got our address, come to find out, manager lets her in his computer regularly, and she has been privy to other employees' private info for some time. Dep head said hubby was free to go with his profound apologies. We found out later employee was fired and manager was demoted and moved to a different department. Today, I visited Disney for the first time since I was 9 years old. Super fun day. Lines longer than I remember, but maybe I was just excited back then. My friend and I discovered the single rider lanes and took advantage of that due to the shorter wait times, and it did not matter to us to ride separately. As we were waiting in that line, a family of 4, mom, 2 daughters, and dad, walk through the middle of the line, holding hands. Several people are disgruntled and asking what they are doing. Mom claims they forgot something on the ride. They make it to the part of the ride where single riders, fast pass riders, and the original line are all in a similar area. One of the ladies behind me screams, "What did you forget?" Everyone in the single rider lane is fuming as we all realize she's just waiting to get on the ride with her kids. They get shuffled into the pre-ride movie area before my friend and I. We are shocked no one brought it to any of the staff's attention. Meanwhile, all the single riders are trauma bonding over this lady's boldness and entitlement. So when my friend and I get shuffled into the pre-ride movie area, I tell one of the staff what the lady and her kids looked like and what she did. He says, at this point, since they are already in the line to board the car, he can't do much. We make it to the car boarding line, and lo and behold, there's the lady and her 2 kids. I stop yet another employee and explain the situation. She says she will let someone know, but walks in the opposite direction of the rider operators. Then, one of the kids runs up to a man directly behind my friend and I, pulls on his arm, and says, "Come on, Dad." We turn around and Dad is behind us. He refuses to join his family, probably because he heard everyone in the line complaining about what they did. So everyone starts speaking louder, the whole line. What a terrible example to set for your children. What makes them feel so entitled? Everyone is waiting the same, some people for hours. Why do they think they're special? Why lie to get what you want? The whole line is loudly speaking, so these people know exactly what we think of them. Dad continues to hang back and let people get in front of him as he hangs his head in shame, and his family inches closer to the front of the line. I had enough at that point. I talked to the people in front of me and asked if I could go let the ride operators know what happened, because I'll be damned if they are getting on this ride. I asked the people in front of me to let me warn the ride operators, and they were all happy to step aside. Mom is blocking the walkway because they are next up. I tap her on her side and say, "Excuse me," and stare her down. She slides over without a word. I then tell the ride operator, this lady and her 2 children cut the entire line through the single rider's line, claiming she forgot something. You can ask anyone in this line. She gives me the most evil, disgusted, shocked glare. I walk back to where my friend was, and another woman goes up to the line operator, verify my story. Disney Mom is trying to say both of us are lying. Then everyone in line starts yelling and telling the same story, determined not to let her or her kids on the ride. They were eventually escorted out the side door, and everyone in line clapped.